Welcome to round 4 of the NorCal Classic. This was an LVO qualifier that we recorded before all of the recent mini extravaganza changes. So this is pre-card rotation, pre-changes, things like that. My name is Nate Horn, and with me is
Pat Van Value, also from Alfredo's Size 3 Taco Truck.
Welcome aboard, Pat. So you have been forcibly shanghaied into doing commentary for this game because on the right you can see Vince is playing. And he wanted to see what other people had to say about this game. What kind of... Okay. I know a little bit of how... Well, I know how it ends, obviously, right? But I didn't get to watch this game. As you pointed out, you can see me playing on the table next to this one. So I don't really know the middle of this game, but I know Vince wanted people that weren't him to talk about it. So that's how you got roped into this.
Interesting. Okay. I do like watching Vince play. He's playing a very Vince list that includes Crimson Dynamo. And, like, my initial reaction to looking at the teams on the table, I don't know if we want to read them out.
Yeah.
But the fact that Vince has Dynamo feels like a big deal, TM.
So this is a shield mirror on Researcher Demons. So there's not going to be a lot of positional play. It's very down the middle. On the left, we have Ron. He's got Nick Fury, 2-point Black Widow, Baron Zemo, Corset Iron Man, and Miles Morales. And then on Vince's side, we've got the Commandos, Invincible Iron Man, Dynamo, and Nick Fury. So I don't know who won Prio here, but the other person picked 15 Threat. This is, I know, Vince's favorite 15 for this setup, where he gets to play Dynamo and Invincible. Did not hear what the tactics cards are. We'll figure those out as we go.
Yeah, I mean, this feels like a situation, so I hadn't really appreciated this until you sent me the lists for both of them, but they seem like they're playing, like they're both playing Shield, but they're playing very different tech within that, right? Like, they're both playing Nick Fury, but the fact that one has Dynamo and the other has, like, Miles Zemo is, like, very... One is far more mobile than the other.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like it definitely gives them their strengths and weaknesses. But I don't know if there's anything on Researcher and Demons favors the Miles player. That seems rough.
Yeah, the Miles choice here in particular, I'm very curious about, because he's not stealing anything this game, right? That's not going to happen. So he's just there to kick people around, and, like, he's pretty good at that, and being able to, like, kick Dynamo off a point is pretty useful. Yeah. I don't have Ron's list, but it wouldn't surprise me if he doesn't have, like, if he wanted to be 5-wide and didn't have another 3-threat that felt good here, right? Or, like, had that displacement. What other 3s does he have in there that could take Miles' spot?
I am looking at that now. I think you're right. The answer is not very many.
Okay.
He has Spectacular, though.
Interesting.
Yeah, which seems like it would do a lot of the same things and have a throw, which is like the same level of displacement as Miles, but diceless and doesn't have to worry about disruption field.
So it looks like we had Miles double move up and hide behind the Shumagrath squid guy. And then Vince had Invincible Iron Man sit rep Dynamo forward, which is his favorite thing to do on Researcher, is just get Dynamo ready to shoot the midpoint, and then just walk behind a car for cover.
Yeah, I think the fact that this is, like, Demons, not Gamma, makes the Miles pick a little more interesting. Like, you're less punished for trying to spread out and, like, go around the side and kick something.
Definitely.
But I don't know. I guess it'll be interesting to see. Maybe it won't be entirely obvious from here, but, like, how many demons they actually bother to stand on. Looks like Widow's on that back one.
Yeah, I mean, she's got stealth, so just being a very far distance away, it's fine if she gets on fire. And I kind of guess that's the only thing Widow's going to do this game, is be the sacrificial backpoint, incinerate, have her.
Sure. Well, and I think in that sense, she's a much more obvious choice for that than anything on Vince's team. Like, it's not obvious who Vince would dedicate to that if he wanted to, even. like maybe the Commandos.
Yeah, it's a real choice that Vince will have to make as far as who sits on his back point and like when, because this is going to be a low-scoring game too, right? There's 5 points on the table, and there's going to be a lot of people contesting the middle one. So it wouldn't surprise me if we see him not take his home point for a turn or two.
Sure.
Oh, well, and then he puts the Commandos on it. I guess you were right, and I was wrong.
Well, I mean, I think it's sort of the same, where they also have stealth and like likely to get shot by anything on Ron's side on turn 1, and they tend to sort of, at least especially when Vince plays them, either they tend to hop forward or they tend to hop someone forward,
right?
And like do a thing and back up. So you can sort of, you know, it's not as big of a deal for them. Now, I think the Zemo bubble is potentially an interesting element of this, like. Being so central, it's an opportunity to get a lot of your team in there and get a ton of value out of the rerolls. Of course, that becomes risky with a Crimson Dynamo across the table, but that's where the positioning gets interesting, I guess.
Yeah, I think the Zemo thing is kind of fun in that, like, so there's a lot of Shield players now, like at time of when we're doing this recording, right, that are playing around with like Namor leadership plus Zemo to give their whole team double rerolls and skulls unlocked. And a lot of people are having a lot of success with that, Vince included. And so it's kind of funny to see, because this game is from the day after Namor came out. Right? He came out on a Friday. This was the following Saturday. And both of them have Namor in the roster. Chose not to play him here. But I think it's kind of cool that you can see Ron starting to head in that direction of just how good rerolls can be with the volume of fire. And like rerolls on the shield agents get really stupid in a hurry. Things like that. So, yeah, I think the Zemo is going to be a very helpful pick here on his side.
Yeah, like I guess that is interesting context to me, of the sense of like when I pulled up, you know, Ron's list today, I was like, oh, that looks kind of what I would expect like a shield buster to look like today. You know, or at least like one of the branches of what people think about shield, right?
Yeah.
But the fact that it is the day after Namor came out is sort of interesting, that he was all aboard already.
Yeah, I mean, you know, they both had Namors in there. I know Vince played him at least a couple times. I don't remember if he played him in the previous round or not. We had that one on camera. It will be on YouTube by the time this is, so you can go find out. But yeah, I think on this kind of brawl, Vince just wanted to default to the team he knows and loves, which
sure.
I don't blame him. Dynamo's real good here.
Yeah, I would. I have Dynamo in my list for this, and I'm definitely not playing Shield.
So far, there's been just a lot of waffling and walking forward. Vince put
strategic positioning.
Yeah. I mean, so Vince put his agents and Fury in range of the point for next turn. Not going any further forward than he has to, staying in cover he can. Ron has put Zemo also behind Shumagurath there. You can see him poking out a little bit. And there's that Miles above him that we can't forget about. But again, just both players trying to stay out of each other's ranges.
Yep. I guess we should have caught this at the start. But so this looks like Ron has priority, right? Because he led off with Miles.
Yep.
But this will be the last turn for now. That's true, right? Because he's
it's 5-4.
One model wider. Yeah.
Yeah, which means Ron can just wait and put someone on the researcher last activation if he wants to at least stop Vince from being able to score it. And I kind of expect that to happen. Although, or maybe he'll dive bomb it with both Fury and the agents just to make sure he scores it. But he has a lot of agency here this turn about who scores this researcher and how much he spends to do that, right? And how many models he puts in risks to do that. But I do think in these like gun for gun matchups, whoever scores researcher first gets a pretty big advantage, because as soon as you start moving it towards your side and then your opponent has to walk a bunch and you have to walk not at all, it can be a real pain to deal with. So yeah, Vince is going to put a model on here just so it's not free, and then take a pot shot at someone.
Looks like he picks Zemo instead of 3-point Iron Man.
Yeah.
So
Shocking
Zemo's definitely
Zemo
easier to
makes
trade than
stuff like Master Swordsman significantly worse, whereas 3-threat Iron Man is not super impactful. Usually just fishing for wilds and trying to get one power, so like doesn't enjoy being shocked, but it's not the same.
Sure.
All right, 3 damage, no shock. It's a pretty good attack into Zemo for him being in cover.
Yeah.
Half dead already. Oh, he did hit the shock. I misheard him. All right. Even better.
Yeah, that's a rough spot for a Zemo to be in for next turn. Like, he's powered up to be dangerous, but the shock is rough.
So now he's got a really interesting, because now we can have Fury and the agents double walk onto the center point and score it. And, you know, we start moving the researcher back. But that is going to give Vince's Dynamo a great top of the turn, where he's going to get 2 to 3 man beams repeatedly, which is rough.
Well,
but I don't know what other options Ron has. I mean, he can walk and shoot Dynamo once with each, but I think if Vince gets to back this up, it's a disaster. So I kind of expect the shield agents to at least double walk onto it and tie the thing.
Yeah, I mean, that seems like sort of the minimum you have to do to avoid the researcher literally running away. You know, putting both of them on there is interesting, but the positioning of like the combination of Iron Man and Zemo means that there are a lot of beam options.
Yeah. Yeah, I think if that was the plan, like Iron Man had to stand somewhere else. I kind of like Zemo being there because you might be able to get them in Zemo bubble while they're standing there and be a little bit more durable. But it looks like Ron is just shooting. So the shield agents walked up to within 3 and shot Dynamo. Takes 2 damage. Ooh, all right. Standard grunt attack.
Yep, that's the grunts. I guess Vince didn't have power for Disruption Field yet, so that's your one window where
he would have had power for it, but maybe just didn't think it was necessary because he made a shot into Zemo.
I could have sworn it said 1, but I don't know.
Oh, then he maybe forgot to give himself power because all he did was walk shoot. That should put him on 2 power.
Yeah, well, he just took 2, and it looks like it says 3.
Yeah, I think maybe he forgot to give himself power when he shot Zemo.
That would.
That's all I
mean, the grunt attack shouldn't do that.
No.
So, like,
yeah,
it's not. Should be a big deal, but it happens.
I don't know. In the comments, tell us what Vince did wrong and why he's only on 3 power.
Let's see. So it looks like he opts not to go stand on the middle and just let Dynamo have control of the researcher.
And I think I'm hoping he walks Fury a second time here at least because he's not in range to shoot anyone. I think the agents ended up like blocking the landing zone Fury would have needed to shoot Dynamo, and Fury's currently on the home demon, which seems bad. So I expect, shuffle and threaten Dynamo for next turn. But I feel like Dynamo is just gonna shoot 2 beams. He doesn't have any great beams. He can maybe catch the agents and Zemo, but I kind of expect him to just like shoot, scoot backwards. And then I don't. Ron doesn't have a great opening response to that.
Does seem tough, especially because by that point Dynamo will be in a lot of power.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, the scoot back is like, I guess you scoot back to where the researcher is now.
Yeah,
makes a lot of sense.
And maybe he. I mean, at least scoot because Ron carefully put a bunch of stuff within 3. That just like even going back a hair means like Fury and the agents have to walk if he doesn't kill them. But
sure.
So they're talking about Stark Armory. I believe they both have a Stark Armory, which is in the power phase. I think Vince's Iron Man only having 1 power is a pretty easy not going to Stark Armory. Dynamo shooting some grunts. Grunts die. Ron's Fury should get a power. Power for Dynamo. Victory point for Ron because they both have the Fury leadership, so a helpful bit of catch up. Oh, they forgot to do incinerates on portal people, so there's that going out. Okay, so it looked like this first beam caught Iron Man and the agents, so this attack's going into Iron Man.
This is, yeah. I mean, it's not as big of a shock as Zemo, but this is still sort of a pretty big incremental shock.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think his goal is to just shock everyone, right?
Yeah.
And it looks like he did 1 damage. Did he get the shock? Yep.
Going for the shock.
Hit the shock. All right. Can't be mad about that. Now he's going after Nick to finish shocking the whole enemy team.
You can't forget about the Miles lurking.
I forgot about the Miles lurking. Yeah, I mean, Miles is on 2 power, so he will web swing in and kick some stuff. And, kicking Dynamo into Nick Fury here could do a lot of damage really quickly.
Yeah. There's a lot of dice going on.
Yeah, so they have... Sorry, Vince is in the Iron Man leadership, actually. I misspoke. So it's Nick Fury leadership versus Iron Man leadership. And so he has that leadership plus the Jarvis rerolls to decide about how he wants to reroll. So there'll be a lot of back and forth on the dice, I think. And here's the rocket boots, as we kind of thought. I guess no shock on Nick Fury, it looks like, with a little bit of damage.
Yeah. Well, and Vince's Dynamo is still right in front of Nick Fury. Prime position to get kicked by Miles.
Yep.
But he does have to do it through Disruption Field. So.
Which is hard, yeah.
Yeah, that's not really a thing you can do.
Yeah, I mean, Iron Man could take some pot shots at Dynamo here and try to push him, but I think the way Vince backed up that there's not really a push angle that would move him anywhere relevant.
Yeah, that seems like pretty important positioning.
So I think it'd have to be a walk shoot kind of thing.
I mean, now that Dynamo has gone...
Okay, sorry. Vince forgot to do his power phase at the start of the turn, so he's going through and giving everyone... He asked Ron, and Ron said he was good with it, so... just giving people their power back.
Cool.
Oh. Ron is playing Helicarrier Strike.
Okay, just like Vince, I'm going to go read that card.
It's a shield card that Vince has to read.
Yeah. Oh, it's an attack card. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
He's picking energy.
A lot of...
Because you can pick physical and energy on it, and then it's like 5 dice or something. But on the energy form, what is it? Wild, it incinerates everyone within 2 of the target? Or is it damage?
Yeah. No, it's... It is wild. Yeah, wild incinerate.
All right. Vince does not sacrifice or anything, just lets it happen. This is going into Dynamo. It kills Dynamo.
Oh.
It rolled 6 hits on 6 dice. Vince blocked 1, reduced 1, took the remaining 4, and died.
That's a good Helicarrier strike.
And he did get the wild. So everyone on Vince's side besides the agents are on fire now.
Oh, boy.
That's a cool card when it works. I think the problem with that card is it's just 6 dice, but...
yeah.
And it was Nick Fury who played it, by the way. And so now I think he's going to try to get out of dodge a little bit.
Yeah, I guess he's got all the power from the grunts getting taken out, so...
Yeah, well, and he got shot himself for some amount as well. And he is Battlefield Medicing on Zemo to heal and remove shock. So, Zemo, full health, no conditions, and a bunch of power.
Much power, yeah.
Well, all right.
Yeah, I did not see that coming. And you know what? Even if I knew what tax cards were, not sure I would.
Yep. I forgot. I forgot he even had Helicarrier strike in the 10. I remember like seeing and talking to him about it a little bit at the event, but by now totally forgot it was here. But yeah, Vince's position just got a lot worse. I mean, he still has his researcher bunker, which is nice, but like he doesn't have anything good to shoot here, right? Like Vince is now at a point where he doesn't have a good activation, and the dynamo bubble is down, which means stuff like Miles and Zemo can come in and really cause a ruckus.
Yeah, losing the dynamo bubble here is big. Well, and like Ron's Zemo is prepared to sort of dive that researcher with all the power, and the new lack of shock. Yeah, I don't know what Vince's activation here should be. Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah, I mean, he can like walk and have Iron Man try to shoot Zemo and push him back a little bit, but I'm not super in love with that as a choice.
Yeah, I could also see like a Commando's teleport and incinerate or something.
Oh, they're teleporting.
I'm a little behind, so I'm clearly predicting the future and not telling you what's happening.
Oh, excellent. Okay.
I'm half joking.
Yeah.
But the Commandos are teleporting and shooting somebody.
No damage. Gains of power because it's a gainer. I think they're shooting Iron Man.
Okay.
Oh. Vince is thinking about rerolls on his 4 successes.
This is a situation where I really appreciate Vince holding up the counts.
Yes. So the Zemo reroll got Iron Man a second block. He reduced the damage. He took 1. Okay, so the Commando's only got 2 power out of that, and he's deciding rather than backing up, he's going to keep the power, which I think kind of makes it's a scary situation. But like if they back up, then next turn they don't have a way to come in unless something of Ron comes in. But I think I still would have gone back behind the car if they can, just because they're like incinerated easily within reach of Zemo.
Yeah, the Zemo element is sort of the tough part. But I can also see why he feels the need to sort of continue contesting this researcher bunker he tried to set up, and then
I think you could
sort of had crack show up.
I think you could let Ron have the researcher this turn and get it back to the next one, but
yeah, I mean, I think it's sort of an interesting question of like how much he's going to commit to the Commandos here, but you kind of got to take that shot as Ron, so
yeah.
I think you expect him to go for it.
And I would feel better about this if Vince had Eye in the Sky up, but he does not. Because Fury has not found a way to find his third power. So Zemo charged. Ron says he attacks Fury. They're debating which Fury is the Fury that's being attacked. So he's punching Junior, and Nick Fury Jr. is sacrificing this attack into Iron Man. Which I guess helps understand why Vince would leave the Commandos up there. If he's willing to play sacrifice, it makes sense to me why he would leave them up there. Because they shouldn't get one shot.
Well, sure, but like here he's sacrificing away from Junior. And so...
Yeah, I'm not...
Senior, is he going to sack into Junior?
Oh, right, because he's not in... Maybe, I don't know. Good point. Interesting.
Yeah,
so by playing Sacrifice, he got around the Master Swordsman rules because Iron Man's not within 2 of Zemo, so then Master Swordsman can't work. And Zemo did 1 damage to Invincible on the sack. Second attack here with Master Swordsman, not sure who into Junior. Only did 1 damage, it looks like.
1, yeah. So still no Eye in the Sky.
So I think Ron there is deciding that since he's wider, he's not really going to worry about priority and try to cut off activations. So since the Commandos had already activated, he wanted to try to kill someone who hadn't gone yet.
Sure.
But I think he would have been better off on that second attack using a Zemo Spender to get out of there, because now he's just going to get shot to shit by the agents and Nick Fury. Like, he's just going to take a full clip from Junior, and doesn't think that ends well for a Zemo.
No, not usually.
And I think just using the Spender to dip back behind our Squiddy boy up there and at least make the agents and Fury have to walk and shoot him would have been a big deal.
Yeah. Huh. I mean, I think, like,
And
trying
Zemo's
to
dazed.
kill Fury there is, like, the higher risk, higher reward option, right? Like, it feels like, on average, you're much more likely to sort of eventually get value out of putting damage on the commandos. But still, if Vince keeps priority and he just goes commandos first, they can shoot stuff and run away. So, like, I understand why you don't want to do that.
Yeah, I totally get his choice of target. I just think that second attack, you know, Master Swordsman's 2 power, his Spender's 2 power. The Spender does a little less damage, but you're pretty unlikely to one-shot a Nick Fury. Right? Like, after the sacrifice comes through, you're not going to one-shot Nick Fury. I would just use the Spender to yo-yo back to safety.
Definitely. Like, Master Swordsman is great for consistency, but it is not particularly good for one-shotting things that are on 5 health.
And he was on 6 health.
No, even better.
So yeah, the 2 grunt attacks and 1 Fury gunshot put Zemo down, so then Nick Fury backed up a little bit. I think is now, since he's on fire, happy to stand on the back portal. I guess Vince will not have to make decisions about who gets incinerated when Ron says your whole team's on fire.
Yeah.
It simplifies that decision making. Well, we still could see some cool Miles chaos here, although
Yeah.
Vince does have Eye on the Sky online now, which greatly impacts what, like, web swing into Eye on the Sky sucks. If you can get out of range, you lose your bonus dice, and now you're just rolling 4s at people, which is a lot less fun.
Definitely.
And also, he can use Eye's movement to change, like, who can get collided, right? Like, even just staying in range but shifting so that they're not lined up with each other can be a big deal as well.
Right.
So,
like, the only thing you can collide into is the already dazed Dynamo. Or something.
yeah, or like between Dynamo and the car there, I think there's a little spot the commandos could live and just either hit one or the other and protect Junior. But I think it's, what, Miles and Widow? Oh no, Iron Man can still go too. So he's still got a couple activations here.
It's, Miles, Widow, Iron Man against just Iron Man?
Just Iron Man. Yeah, I kind of think you just pass with Widow here functionally. Yeah, you just have Widow.
Yeah, there was I sort of expected that when, and one activation earlier.
Oh, sure.
Like,
Yeah,
I didn't
before Zemo came
feel
in.
like there was a lot of pressure to do the Zemo thing.
No, I don't think there was. I guess Ron's going for it.
Yeah.
I mean, I do think, you know, while this feels greedy to, like, push forward this hard, I do think when your opponent is scoring the researcher and building their bunker, you do have to overextend, right? You have to do something to change the situation, and you just have to get a lot of models up over there, even if it's going to hurt to do so. So I see where Ron's coming from on these decisions. He Friday AI'd and shot, I think, Junior.
Okay, that would fit.
And Vince just let it happen. I think probably more worried about the Miles kick, right? Like, I think he's saving Eye for Miles and coming in rather than the one Tony shot. 2 damage. Gets through. I think I see a wild there.
Progress.
I guess not. Or he just pushed Fury into the car, but I would have expected him to just push Fury off the point.
Yeah, that seems like money if you can get it.
Unless that was, I misheard, it was a homing rockets attack, but well, no, because that would have to do the splash damage on a wild, so
Well, he's still got 4 power, so.
Oh, yeah, good point. So Vince passes. And, all right, the whole team's just coming
The whole
up.
team is going. All right. Yeah, so this is at least like dedication to the bit that I'm very on board with.
Absolutely.
That like, yeah, he's committed to what he thinks he needs to do here, and sometimes that's all it takes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, he's in a tough situation, and I think just, oh, is she, oh, okay.
There she's going.
I mean, if she can
right.
get onto the researcher and that home point, I think that's great, right? Like, Widow exists just to contest points. That's all she's good for. And so I think contesting the highest value stuff here. I don't think she's on the researcher there, though. I think the researcher's still under Dynamo.
Goes that far.
Yeah.
But that's, still like she's in a position where she's either scoring or at least contesting that, and now is in a position where you can't really ignore that spender next turn either.
Well, and has a lot of Vince's team within martial artist as well, so she should be reasonably durable. Iron Man shoots Iron Man, gets a push. I kind of expect, he's just going to try to maybe setting up dynamo beams. Because I think Vince's next turn is going to be Stark Armory into Dynamo.
Sure.
Seems like.
He's definitely got the Iron Man power now, so.
Yeah, Iron Man's on 3, I think.
Yeah, 2 or 3, I'm not 100%.
So he's shooting Widow, checking to see if he's in martial artist. Oh, Eye in the Sky. Okay.
Oh.
I mean, she's got stealth, so. Oh, wait.
Yeah, where does she go?
Where does she go? Oh, she's going to try to get. Okay, so I think they decided they were outside of martial artist, and so now she's just going to be sticky, I guess.
I guess. She's not doing the scenario thing, but I guess this is Demon's Researcher, so. Oh, and she's incinerated, so. Like, that makes even less sense to me.
Yeah.
Because, like, martial artist on 1 die is not a thing.
Yep. I don't get that one.
I guess there's a world where you're, like, already have decent odds to get pushed off the point by the Iron Man push. So it's just like a reasonable trade power-wise for Fury? I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like I'd rather just have that power on Fury Jr. next turn. I can't see how much he has, but I'm not confident that he has enough for this guy at the start of next turn. And I think he's going to want that if Vince is going to be doing Stark Armory Dynamo Beams.
Yeah, that's surprising. This footage looks like Vince's Widow at this point.
Yeah, on his deployment line. All right, well, here's the Miles we've been talking about from the shadows.
He's making his appearance. This isn't Jakar. Don't go there. Okay, so he's got choices with the Miles.
He's attacking the commandos, and Vince is not eyeing this guy in this. I thought for sure the web swing kick was going to get eyed. Using leadership for Rose. Takes 3. Yeah. Vince needs to be on this call so I can ask him why he did not end this guy this.
It is interesting.
Miles did hit the wild. Furies have collided with each other. Vince is probably thinking about brace. The attack did 3 damage as well, so the commandos are low.
So my initial theory of why he wouldn't was that he wanted to be able to have it so he wasn't forced into a second activation next turn. But he has plenty of power, so I don't get it
either. So he rolled dice instead of playing brace, and Fury looks like it only took 1. So not too bad on the collision there. But the commandos are now on 1 health.
It's still, I don't know, an interesting not brace in the sense of like, Fury's on 2 now, and it's sort of a precarious spot.
Yeah, maybe he didn't want to eye because the commandos are the only thing on. Like, I'm not sure if Nick Fury's on the researcher. He must be. I was trying to think, like, is this some way to protect the researcher?
A little bit, yeah. I guess even if he wasn't going to eye out of range, it feels like you could eye in a way so that the commandos don't get thrown into Fury.
Okay. So Nick Fury was not on the researcher, which is part of why. And so Miles moving there means no one scored the researcher. So it was just both Furies juniors scoring their home demon for a score of 1-1.
Good old Shield games.
Okay, so I think that helps me understand a little bit more of the not eyeing there.
Sure.
But I think that's great. I think I would still just eyed. Vince is playing Stark Armor. Because I just think, like, even if Ron scores the researcher, Vince's top, like, crackback here should be really good, right? Like, all of Ron's stuff is just arrayed in front of him. A bunch of it is already wounded. You're going to Stark Armory, Dynamo Beams. Like, you're going to have a good turn. You should be able to score the researcher this turn and get it back, you know. Keep it on your side of the table in the end anyways.
Yeah. Yeah.
Incinerate's going out for demons.
Yeah, if those two incinerated with the beam, that's Dynamo business.
I think Ron also played Stark Armory. I think that's why that card's floating down there by the building.
Yeah, that looks like it could be a Stark Armory.
I mean, that makes sense, right? Like, it still works when Iron Man is dazed. So the only thing Ron would have to worry about is if, like, his Iron Man gets pushed too far away. But
yeah,
I don't think Vince wants to start with his Iron Man anyways, right? He's still going to start with Dynamo, so.
I wasn't looking at Ron's Iron Man's power. So
I wasn't either. Unfortunately, yeah, I don't know how big this Stark is.
I mean, like, even 2 is okay, but 3 would.
I bet it's at least 3.
Yeah.
I would bet it's 3 or 4, honestly. All right, Dynamo shooting Zemo with a beam. No damage. Blocks it all.
Oof.
Oh, Ron rolled too many dice for Incinerate, so his...
Taking something now.
Yeah. Okay. He forgot to flip Zemo's card. Vince has also forgotten to flip Dynamo's card. Hopefully they catch that at some point here, and he doesn't get to live 2 lives.
Does he have a 3 live Dynamo? Maybe he might catch it when he goes to actually write the health on him.
Yeah, I'm sure he will.
Yeah.
So lots of complicated re-rolling back and forth. I'm not really sure what's going on. Oh, I misspoke entirely. This is not a Dynamo activation. This was a Nick Fury activation. I mean, that makes sense because that's the most damage output he could get. I think just the shield agents alone killed Dynamo there, and so now, killed Zemo, and now Junior is spendering into Miles and probably has the power for 2 spenders. Sure does. So we could see a dead Miles here too, or dazed Miles. So the spender did 1 damage, and now the free grunt attack. 5 dice reroll 1, pretty fun. Stark Armory, fun card.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I think if he gets Miles here, this opener feels great for Vince. Because then it's just Iron Man and Widow that can mess with him.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, yeah, they'll probably tap in the commandos and stuff, but it's fine.
But yeah, that's a fine trade.
Grunt attack did nothing to Miles. Here's the second spender. Looks like a good pile of die. Miles blocks 3 because he's Miles.
Some Mileses.
All right. Using Iron Man's power rerolls. Yep. Just trying to go as big as he can on this one. Okay, so Vince was debating buying a leadership because now he doesn't have Eye in the Sky power unless the grunt attack does the damage. But he really, really wants to get as much damage to as he can here. He did 2. Miles is on 2, and we have 1 grunt attack to try to kill him. This could blow up in his face real bad. I don't like that reroll, Vince. That was very greedy. He even said it was greedy and he shouldn't do it, but I'm doing it anyways.
Oh, that's a lot of dice. Like.
Yep. All right. Miles is dead. Greed rewarded. No consequences.
This has been an unusually long activation for Vince. There's a lot of dice going on.
Yeah. Well, so like, hey, we fixed it. With the way Iron Man's leadership and Jarvis works, he has to like think really hard about how much to spend on rerolls, especially when both of the defending characters have rerolls of their own. So you kind of have to think about like how much. So there's a lot of dumb math going on in there.
Is Dynamo 6 health on the back also?
Yeah.
I'm just losing my mind.
He's 6'6". He's a cool guy.
6'5".
Vince was thinking about battlefield medicine there, but has decided to keep it, which I think makes sense. I don't see any immediately obvious great medicine targets.
I mean, I think if he had, if he had started with Dynamo, Fury's a pretty obvious deal. But yeah, because he led with Fury, I think you can let it ride. The Furies are also on 1, but I guess he's like content to have them dazed if it means he keeps priority.
Yeah, that, or he's going to use Eye in the Sky to keep them alive.
Yeah.
Or make it really hard. But yeah, I bet he's just willing to let the commandos die here. I guess we're going to find out in a sec. So Ron's Fury walks up, trying to see if he's in range for some Fury on Fury violence.
Yeah.
Fury Jr. on Fury. God damn it.
Well, there's lots of kinds of Fury on Fury violence.
That's true. There's too many Furies.
So, I mean, I guess regardless of whether it's into the Commandos or Fury, he does still have Eye in the Sky to contend with, but whichever one doesn't get eyed,
he'll just shoot the, yeah. So. Like, I think to some extent, Ron is just going to take what he can get and get what Vince gets him.
Mm-hmm. In that sense, I would feel like he's going to end up with the Commandos, and I'm immediately wrong. But that's surprising to me, because like...
And Disruption Field. I don't know, this makes sense to me because Fury Jr. is already activated, and if he plays I, Fury Jr. has no reason to exist. Like the rest, he's done his work, right?
I guess that's fair.
He got his activation, he played his cool card. The Commandos have a bunch of power and stuff to do, so... Oh, and it looks like Junior was actually out of range, so this attack went into Dynamo instead, after the Eye stopped him from shooting the Commandos. Dynamo takes 1 damage. Okay, that super makes sense to me then, to Eye there, because Dynamo can absolutely take 1 attack and live. No problem. And now Vince is just kind of playing the sprinklers here a bit, I think.
Oh, he's got a Black Widow to worry about.
On 1 health, who's getting spendered by the Commandos.
Well,
or she might be on 2 health. I can't tell, but she is wounded, and she's incinerated, and he can make the spender energy. So
Yeah, you know, all Black Widows have their day. This might not be her.
Oh, we also should mention, we missed it a little while ago, but Ron did get his leadership point from the Miles or Zemo dying. So it's now a 1 point gain. Leadership's helping. Like,
it is.
Ron being -2 here would feel so much worse about the situation, I think.
Definitely.
All right. Yep. Dazed Widow, big surprise. Now they're taking a gunshot into Iron Man. Just a builder. Has dark armory behind it. Blocked nothing.
Oh.
Vince rolled 6 hits on his 6 dice.
Okay, pretty good.
And has dazed Iron Man.
All right, well, maybe we get a clean Iron Man coming back and beaming the world.
Huh? Yeah, I mean, Ron's going to have to do something here for sure. Because this was also, remember, Ron's Stark Armory turn. And he made 1 attack through Stark Armory because of how quickly his stuff folded. And, like, I think the choice to play Stark Armory was, like, I get why he did it there. I don't think it was a bad choice, but boy, did he get punished for it.
Yeah. Definitely broke the wrong way.
So Ron's entire team except Fury is dazed. And we've got a Dynamo and an Invincible left to activate on Vince's side, so I assume they're going to put down Junior. Or try to. Yeah, this is... Oh, right. The Commandos get another shot here because they spendered into Widow and hit the trigger for Flurry, so get a bonus builder or bonus gainer. And then this was their second action for a gainer into Fury Jr., which did no damage.
What? Where did the advance come from?
They have Wild Pursuit on their builder.
Okay.
Invincible shot Fury, did some amount of damage and got the Wild Push. Shake it, incinerate. Yep. I think Vince is going to have more actions than he needs here, so get rid of incinerate makes sense.
Yep.
I think that may have dazed Junior. I think that's a dazed token sitting next to him there.
Yeah, it looks like the one by Widow, so that tracks.
Okay, yeah, that's the end of the turn. Yep. Dynamo just generated a bunch of power with his actions, so he's now on 10 power. Hell yeah.
Vince scores 4 between 2 demons and a researcher. So you're right that he managed to hang on to that researcher. It will be... Do you think he's going to move it again?
He should. I don't know if he'll think to, because it's kind of hidden under there. But the fact that Fury Jr. is not standing on it feels like a bad choice.
If you can move it for free, might as well.
Conditions. Iron Man stays on fire. The Commandos stay on fire. Fury stays on fire. Vince's Fury Jr. stays on fire. And, yep, Ron's whole team is injured.
Now, Vince's Fury is on 2 health and no eye in the sky.
Correct.
So I feel like he doesn't have priority either, though. So it's a little sketchy, but you do have to get through Dynamo to get there. So
yeah, I mean, everything is set up here for Ron to have a pretty reasonable swing back turn, right? Because the Commandos are still on 1 health too. So like his first activation, there's definitely ways where he can kill the Commandos, kill Fury, which really hampers what Vince can do back. Then it's just Iron Man and Dynamo shooting you, which doesn't feel good. But I think if Ron can knock off 2 activations with his first activation, we've still got a game going.
Yeah, he's back in the attrition fight.
How you do that, I think it's interesting. I mean, they're all going to have to go through Dynamo disruption fields. I don't...
Well, I mean, unless he backs up.
Yeah, but then he's not shooting 2 people.
Surely, the beam is range 5, right?
Oh, right. I forgot about the...
he like walk back to just outside of 3 of Dynamo, and I think beam all 3.
How much?
I don't think I'm not. I don't know. I don't know if that's actually good.
How much does Unibeam cost? Do you have his card up?
I have it nearby.
All right.
I think it's 4. It is 4.
Okay. Yeah. So.
But it is only 6 dice raw.
Yeah.
So
well, he's only got to do 1 and 2 damage.
it's true. I mean, the 2 is far from guaranteed. But
Yeah. For sure. Well, the 2 is on a 2 def model because its energy is on fire. So. It's there.
Mean, that is a high stakes choice of path, though.
Yes.
Like, if you don't get those 2 dazes, you're like, oh, well, I'm gonna go home. I don't know what else he does though.
Okay, he's doing Friday AI instead, and shooting the commandos. Vince does not disruption field this. I think he's just accepting that the commandos die. I think I still would disruption field because Dynamo's got 10 freaking power.
10.
Like, what do you?
The odds of that, I don't know. I guess they're incinerated, but still.
Oh yeah, and so Vince almost lived there because he bought a leadership reroll. So
That's
he
even crazier.
absolutely should have disruption field that, Vince. Come on. I think he thinks, I mean, correctly so. He's in a very good position, right? And probably is he's just like, it's fine. You know, he has a commanding lead. He has the researcher. He's way up on attrition. You know, it's fine if the commandos die here. But like, Dynamo has more power than he's ever going to be able to spend. And if he fails to kill one of these 2 models, you're in the money. You know what I mean? Like, if one of Iron Man's attacks just blanks out, doesn't do anything, you're so far ahead in the money.
Yeah, exactly. Like the 2 power you spend on Dynamo for the chance at just windmill slamming it.
Yeah.
It feels worth it.
Okay, so Friday AI shot into Fury Jr. This time he's disruption fielding.
Yeah, well, that's good at least.
Makes sense. 4 hits. I think Vince only blocked 1 because he mentioned that he would need disruption field to miss both. Or I guess did his man, I don't know. Okay, so he used disruption field to stop the wild so that Fury Jr. wouldn't get pushed, but does take the damage to get dazed. I didn't quite hear the math on how that occurred, but Braun did get the objective we said, which was kill Fury, kill Fury.
Okay, well, that's sort of what he needed to get out of that, at least. Looks like he's about to get
Dynamo beamed on. Yep.
get back from Dynamo. I guess there's some more leadership points on the table, at least.
It feels like Ron needs every model he has to live here, but yeah.
Yeah, maybe not Black Widow.
Okay, so he's going to use Dynamo power for leadership rerolls here to try to push through more damage. Again, Dynamo has more power than he needs, so I think that totally makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, at this point, there's only so many attacks runs make
yes.
the Dynamo bubble.
Did 1 damage to Iron Man.
Yeah, that Iron Man into Commandos situation, the disruption field, like, more than doubles their odds of surviving.
That makes sense, yeah. Yeah. Did some damage to Fury, beam again. 1 damage to Iron Man.
No shocks coming out so far.
Oh, yeah. Big. Yeah, I haven't seen... A little bit of confusion on who's who. And, oh, yeah, here's going to be an eye in the sky to not get beamed while walking forward. One of Vince's favorite tricks. Because you just have to leave where the original template was placed. And since it made attack against 3-threat Iron Man, then he doesn't get an action or anything. So just using that to get Fury up there to be able to make more attacks. Love it.
Yeah, big.
And there's not a lot Vince can do about that, and I don't think this is like a huge blowout for Vince either, right? But I guess he could have not beamed Fury Jr. with the second attack.
Yeah, the second time.
But that feels maybe a little bit like seeing the future.
Although, ironically, it feels like it's a little hard to tell with the positioning, but like the way they're sitting now, it almost looks like he couldn't beam them if he'd done that eye off the first one. Like,
oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. I guess maybe there's a worry that Dynamo could shift his beam to hit Miles and Fury Jr. instead of... It's hard to tell angles with where the
and he's got rocket boots, so it's always like...
Oh, yeah, true.
A bit of an open question. By a bit, I mean a fucking huge question.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Well, if Ron can assassinate Invincible Iron Man here... oh, okay. Like I said, that's like Vince's last activation on this turn is invincible. So if you knock him down, he ain't doing anything else to you. But he is instead shooting a Dynamo. One damage to Dynamizzle.
Dynamizzle.
Making grunts and then I'm guessing a spender follow-up? I don't know how much power. Yep, Fury Spender.
Yep.
And Disruption Field from Dynamo. Yep. And more boring dice rolling. There's a lot of air to fill in this matchup with just how much of it is just like roll dice. I think about rerolls, you think about rerolls. Moving on.
We could be reading die results. We're slacking.
All right, one damage.
Okay. Grinding him down.
The grunts, and he's disrupting the grunts attack. Good. Yep. Ooh, that's 3 crits.
That's a lot of, yeah.
Grunts! 6, 7 hits?
Oh, jeez.
Dynamo will die, so buys a defensive reroll. Alright, needs Disruption Field to save him. Alright, Dynamo lives on 1. Thank you, Disruption Field.
Damn. Alright. He picked up the defensive reroll too, right?
No, he didn't.
No? Okay.
No.
We'll pick a shield. Alright, well, Dynamo sneaks away for now. There's still Miles to deal with.
And a Widow. The Widow could kill him.
You know, the Widow, there's technically a Widow. I don't believe Black Widow does things.
I mean, dealing 1 damage is a thing she's capable of doing. It's like that's totally in the realm of...
I mean, it's possible.
Ooh.
But
so Tony is shooting Junior here, which is interesting. I feel like you'd want to try to stop one of Widow or Miles from messing you up. Because even KOing them doesn't give up prio, right? Like, it's 2 activations to 1 here. So Vince could kill one of those 2 models and keep prio. I do not understand shooting Fury here. I mean, killing Fury is good,
but
you just got to cut off one of these activations.
Immediate problem, I suppose.
And did not do any damage of consequence.
Clean Miles though, so like expecting to do that with Iron Man is.
Well, I mean, just shoot Widow then, all right? But just like kill one of the 2 models, even if it's Widow. I think would be better than putting attacks in the Fury Jr. there.
I don't know that I am on board with that. If Vince still has priority, like, I guess it depends if Dynamo lives. Like, I feel like putting damage on Fury has a lot of value if Dynamo lives.
Yeah, but there's no way he lives.
It's not super likely.
Oh, I guess, okay. I did miss that Vince has Eye in the Sky protection up.
Yeah.
Which does change the situation. They're trying to see if the Widow pistol is in range to shoot Dynamo. I think the answer was no.
So I have lost the plot. Are the commandos still up on 1?
No.
No?
No. Remember, because Ron started the turn getting the Commandos and Fury Jr.
Oh,
dead.
yeah. Sorry. That's the last turn.
I'm trying to... Miles hasn't gone, right? Sorry.
No,
he's
still got a mile.
Okay, because Ron hasn't updated the card over there, right? The card's still on the healthy side.
Yeah.
It has 5 damage on it, but I think that's just a...
And 9 power or something? He looks
Yes, that's a 9.
pretty stacked.
Yep. Okay, Widow's coming up. I assume just going to give Dynamo the bop.
We can't exactly tell where the researcher is, but it's not immediately obvious.
I think it's still under Dynamo. I don't think it's moved since the first turn. Which, again, I wish it was on Fury Jr.
No, he's dazed. It's fine.
Okay. So here they are realizing... Ron realizes Miles. I think Ron might have thought Miles was dazed this whole time, too.
Oh.
Vince seemed to have understood the situation, but I don't think Ron remembered that he had a Miles here as well. So Widow double walks onto the researcher, and then, Vince is like, I'm activated out, you still have a Miles, so now we have Miles is going to do some shit. Web swinging.
Yep.
Kicking Dynamo. Dynamo's disrupting fielding. I guess... Man... This is scary, because the Wild's before damage, so even if this kills Dynamo, he still might get projectile launched into someone. So I think, again, we were talking Eye in the Sky to stop collisions feels helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he did get a Wild. Dynamo is making him reroll the Wilds. I guess Vince does still have Brace, though, so maybe he's not that... he's just... This late in the game, he's happy to just burn and Brace on that kind of thing.
Sure.
So, Dynamo, Disruption Field, stops the Wild, so no throw. Does die. Miles has an action left. Which also means Ron will score this Researcher.
Yeah. It's going to be big. We can bring it back a bit. What does Miles do with the second action?
I assume Venom Blast somebody, just for damage.
Well, but is he? Who?
Good question. I guess I thought he was within 2 of Junior, but maybe he isn't. So he Battlefield
Junior.
Medicines Fury Jr.?
Isn't he also dazed?
No. So remember, Ron's whole team started this turn injured, and Vince has failed to kill anyone.
Right, but okay.
Wait. Fury Jr.
First activation of the turn. Yeah. Vince is Fury Jr.
Yes. Right.
Okay, so he's diving.
Yeah, he's going to get a point, which makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah, so heal up
have
and just score stuff because, Vince's whole team was fucked up. You're right. There was nothing to Venom Blast.
I mean, you could kick Iron Man and hope to fish the Wild, but
I think coming and getting the point was a big deal here because now they're 1 point separated and Ron still has shield leadership that will tie the game.
Yeah.
So I think the Miles going, it sucks having a Miles get incinerated. That feels bad. But I think if he remembered he still had Miles, he could have switched between Miles and Widow who's standing where. Right? Widow could stand on that point and Miles would be standing on the Researcher and Ron would have a better position. But I think that was just a oversight, not realizing he still had the Miles there.
Yeah, that makes sense. When Miles even could have won that Researcher even if Dino was alive. No, he's not. Never mind. I'm getting baited by the healthy card. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah, I think it would
Vince has priority back.
He does. He has a lot of people ready to... I mean, Fury only has 4 power, which is a good amount, but not a crazy high amount. And then Commandos and Iron Man. So kind of like last turn, Vince needs to kill some stuff.
Yeah, well, I mean, that is the shield mirror. Whoever's got priority has to kill some stuff.
Sure does.
And then you run out of sides. So, got a bunch of power on Iron Man, too, for rerolls.
He does. So I think it'll be a Fury Jr. activation. I think I might go after Miles, but... Oh, okay. I mean, the commandos have spenders and stuff, too, so I think this is... Okay, Brothers in Arms to get into position. He's going after the enemy Nick Fury. I don't like this choice. Ron's Nick Fury was not in range to do anything.
I suppose that's true.
Like, he was just in walk-shoot range. I wanted to get Miles here. I think would have been my... He's on fire. He's in your whole team. And those collisions can become a problem in a hurry.
The grunts are in 2-tap range, though. So, like, if you kill Fury, they're no longer a problem. But
yeah, okay, that's true.
I guess I had also been thinking that Fury still had damage on him, but
he got Battlefield Medicine by Miles at the end of last turn. So no damage, but he did get the flurry, and he's changing targets into 3-threat Iron Man. It sounds like. And no damage. So now he's spending again. I'm not sure her into. Okay, into Junior again. Okay, chasing some Iron Man money after this. Yeah, I feel like so you're right that the grunts double tapping could be scary. But I feel like I would have just found like one of the flurry attacks from these guys, or from have the grunts shoot grunts and just like kill the grunts instead of trying to kill Fury.
Yeah, that's fair.
You will have a free attack in here. Just kill them, leave Fury to his devices. Especially because now, like he Brothers in Armed up forward and doesn't have the power to retreat.
Yeah, that's rough.
And so like his Fury went from having not a great thing to do to just having a great turn.
Yeah, that is sort of... He really does sort of give him a target that he did not have before.
And, I mean, dice be dice, but he also didn't do... Like, he did 2 damage to Nick Fury Jr. with that whole activation.
Yeah.
So if I'm Ron, I'm going with Miles here. He's in the most danger. And I think all Ron wants to do is make sure as many things get to activate as possible. And, like...
Well, yeah, and he can make attacks into unactivated models that have meaningful throws also.
Mm-hmm.
Or even Venom Blasts, I guess.
All right, well, he's Venom Blasting Fury.
Okay.
I mean, I think kind of the same principle you were just talking about, right? If you kill Fury, it gets the agents out of here and gets Eye out of here as well, and you got to fight through Eye anyways, so...
It's kind of...
Vince is taking the first one, probably hoping to eye the second attack. Buying a defensive reroll. Dies to the Venom Blast. That's bad.
Let's break. Yeah, let's see. Well, he's got an Iron Man left against the world.
Yep. I assume we're going to see a web swing kick from Miles here. Now that there's no more eye in the sky and stuff to disrupt it. Oh, kick the Iron Man. I think he's kicking the Commandos, but I want him to kick the Iron Man. You get the wild and just boot him out of there, and Vince has to walk attack you.
No way it goes that far, right?
With stealth and stuff, it might.
But, maybe.
Oh, he did kick Iron Man. Okay. Excellent. Didn't get the wild, so it wasn't a thing.
So Vince is in a rough spot.
Yeah, this is...
That Iron Man does not have a ton of health either.
Falling apart in a hurry for him.
Let's see. Because, like, now Fury's in a spot to really threaten to kill the Commandos this turn. And there's also a bonus Iron Man Widow.
Yeah. It's just a lot of actions left.
Yeah.
And Invincible's not in a great position. Well, I think now Invincible has to try to kill Other Fury Jr., but I don't think he can, because I gotta imagine Ron has Eye in the Sky now.
You'd think so.
Okay, yep. Shooting it with Iron Man, Eye in the Sky. Yep. And he's just gonna leave. The important thing is, yeah. Walk outside. All right. Iron Man on Iron Man violence. Yeah, I think Vince just has to take what he can get at this point.
Yeah, I mean, you got to make the most of the actions you got.
Yeah.
It is
Okay. One shot, Iron Man. Ron gets his point.
So I hadn't really been. We were talking about the commandos moving forward, as opposed to just like attacking Miles. And I think that's even sort of a little wilder now that I've looked down and noticed it's turn 5. Like, Vince is ahead and sort of just has to hold on to it.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
And like the researcher is still on his side, and he is still not the beatdown.
So I think this is into Miles. Miles block nothing. Spider senses. 2 damage. Oh, so this was the $1 billion punch. So Iron Man gets to place. It also has a throw trigger on like Wild Hit, I think. It sucks. And he did not get it. But it gets him onto the researcher and into a relevant position, which makes sense. But I still think his odds of living through this turn are not good.
Well, they're better now that Fury is farther away, but...
Yeah, but it's still going to be
and Iron Man's dead.
2 Widow punches, 2 grunt shots, and a Fury gunshot.
Yeah. He doesn't have a ton of power to reduce.
What is this? Okay. Iron Man damage reduction to 0, no damage. Yeah, these are the grunts. Okay, grunts do no damage. Good for Vince.
Okay.
He does need Iron Man. Like, Iron Man is a durable model. And is not on fire, so...
Not yet. Oh, no, I guess he's still on the demon. So.
Yeah, no, he's been avoiding them. So he could tank the world here.
Every activation in the world gets a little smaller.
Oh, yeah, they realized they forgot to put damage on Miles, so they're fixing that real quick. So I think Ron now is thinking about points, right? Because it's a tie game with Iron Man dying. And so... and I believe he will outnumber on the researcher. Or at least tie it, right? Because there's some Miles and a Widow in there versus...
It's a healthy Iron Man, though.
Oh, you're right. He doesn't... Okay. So that's probably part of the decision-making here, right? He's thinking about, does Fury come forward to try to help kill that guy? Or do I stay back and, you know, score my home point? But yeah, I think he's got to come and kill Iron Man.
Well, yeah, I guess because he can... So he can... If he scores all 3 demons, it's like 1 more point than Vince scoring just the researcher. But it puts him in a pretty rough position for next turn.
I guess we missed an Iron Man, or... Interesting. I don't know what Fury's actions were, but now we're on Widow, Spendering, Iron Man.
That's interesting, yeah.
I don't know what Fury did.
Well, we saw a walk, but yeah, I don't know what the other was. Why does Widow Spender do 4 damage?
So Vince will die to this attack, but he can spend to live. And so he's thinking about, do I want Iron Man to live here? Because if he does, it means I have to activate Iron Man first next turn, right? Because Iron Man would be on 1 health and staggered because of the way Widow Spender works. So it's a real decision whether or not he lets Invincible Iron Man days here or not.
Yeah, that becomes harder.
Yes.
I think at that point they do tie the researcher, right? And
I
now
believe
Vincent's
so.
going down 2.
Okay, so Iron Man is dazing. Yeah, what was Fury's action? Maybe nothing. I guess it doesn't matter a whole lot.
Well, surely he would have done something.
I would think so.
Well, you've got the tape. You can check the tape.
Commenters, leave a message below. Tell us what we fucked up and missed. So now Ron scored 2 points. Vince's whole team is flipped, and it's just Iron Man and the Commandos versus still 4 models. Or 3 models.
Yeah.
Right, the 4th one's the agents.
Let's see. So a clean injured widow, a 3 health Miles, and a question mark health Fury.
Yes. I think
But with some
has taken
damage.
2 damage. That's my best guess if there is 2 damage. So another $1 billion punch going into Fury. I think he has identified correctly. He needs to kill Fury Jr. here. He can't let the agents just keep shooting him. And he doesn't have the actions. At this point, he really doesn't have the actions to put attacks into the agents, I don't think.
Yeah. Really does need to be a $1 billion punch.
Yep. Currently doing 1 damage. Thinking about rerolls. Does buy the reroll. Was hoping to get the wild so he could get the throw, but doesn't sound like he got it. So just coming on over, getting onto the researcher with the teleport. And did 1 damage. Okay, Nick's on 1 health.
All right.
Is getting buildered. Ron clocked to him because I believe he now has Eye in the Sky power and is thinking about, like, can I get cover or something?
Mm-hmm.
He is playing Eye. I don't think that gets him cover. I think they're still within 2 there, but
Yeah.
I guess we'll see. I mean, maybe just being further forward is all he wanted out of it. No damage. Gets the guaranteed power. Vince is tilted. Knocking buildings around.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's real bad.
That's a problem.
Because now
Let's see.
Ron just
Yeah,
has
we
to
skip
kill the
the forward.
commandos and he wins the game.
Yeah.
This is a grunt
Got 4
attack.
attacks to do it.
Yeah. Blocks it on this one. Second gunshot. Oof. Takes 1. I mean, it's not going to get spendered, so it's just going to be 2 knives. Ooh. 5 hits.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yep. And with the Pierce, guarantees kills them.
Okay.
Damn. Yeah, not killing
Yeah,
Fury
that's-
there is just such a disaster.
bad.
I mean, I think he's still in a rough spot even if he kills Fury Jr., but not killing Fury Jr. is just the worst possible.
For sure. Like, you still got to eat,
Miles and
swing
Widow.
kick plus
Yeah.
the venom strike, yeah. But, yeah. Huh. Shield mirror always is interesting.
And so I think Ron is now just going to score points. And it's starting over from the beginning.
Got a little look back at where we started. That was interesting. I was keeping an eye on the clock there as
Yeah.
we got towards the end.
Mhm.
And Vince was definitely up, but
He
it
was.
was never got especially low. So by the time you get to turn 6, the model count's getting down there. It becomes less of a problem, but
So
still
where
good to
do you think Vince lost that game? Because that was the thing. Why, like, one of the reasons he didn't want to be on this one, right? And like, that was the spoiler I knew, is that he wasn't sure where he went wrong in this game afterwards. Like, he was trying to figure out, this was going really well, and like the turn where everyone on Ron's side dazed, Ron actually almost conceded. You couldn't hear it on the mics here, but like I know he was talking about it. It's like, I should have just let you concede. Because it just felt that bad for Ron that he almost decided just like throw in the towel, right? And then Vince convinced him to keep fighting, and then here we are. Where do you think it went all, where did it all go wrong for Vince?
I should have been taking notes if I knew there was a quiz, but I think the best answer I have is that commando activation where they teleport forward instead of attacking Miles. Like, it just feels like that gives up so much positional value, and the commandos have pretty good odds to deal to daze an incinerated Miles that's on like 3 health or something. But I mean, I think there's other things you could argue were big moments, like, but I think that's the biggest.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely, so having known that I'm supposed to be looking for that moment, right? The couple things that stood out to me was, I think that Commando's activation, it definitely is one of those Marvel moments people talk about where like the dice can make a good decision look bad. And the dice definitely went as bad as possible for him there, where like 3 of their 4 attacks did no damage and he did like 2 damage total. But I still think that, it's just like positionally puts him in such a bad spot when he could have like, there's a world where he uses the commandos to kill Miles and then uses Brothers in Arms to back up further, like get a better positional, right? And have even less things for Ron to attack. So I think that was bad. And then I think, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I think the thing about that commandos activation is that I don't think it's like bad in every context. I think it's questionable in the context of like when you're ahead and trying to close it out.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. Like if sort of their relative positions were switched, then I think you have to go with it. Go with the commandos there and like try and get the impactful days. But I also like haven't sat down and done the math for that commandos activation to like know how likely they were today's Fury. Because that does also leave them in a pretty good spot.
That's true. I also have no idea what the math is on that one. So
yeah, commandos are weird. So we'll just guess. But yeah, you had something else?
Yeah, well, the other two, we kind of talked about this, is just like the 10 power dynamo not disrupting fielding to save the commandos. That felt like a free roll that he just missed. Which
I mean, like, I think that's a pretty, to me, that's like a pretty inarguable thing that you would want to do differently next time. But I think like if that's the kind of thing we're picking as like the mistake that cost you the game or whatever, like we've looked past a lot of Marvel dice.
Yeah, no, definitely would not put the game on that one, but it was, that's one of the things with Marvel is that it's very, it's a roller coaster, right? And like the game can swing pretty quickly, and like the commandos living there could have swung the game back to Vince's side pretty heavily as well, right? Like that was a way to swing it back in the other direction. Where he then has to attack the commandos twice, and then Fury Jr. gets a full activation instead, and attrition's much better in Vince's favor, et cetera, et cetera. So, like, I agree that's not where things went bad for Vince, but that was a window of opportunity for him to swing it back that just, I think, got missed.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, it is a little unintuitive, but I don't know.
What were the odds? You said it doubled the odds. Do you remember what the odds were?
Assuming I had the right math, it went from like a 12%er to a 28%er.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
It wasn't great.
I mean,
because it was like 6 dice into Def 2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
28% is higher than I would have thought. That's actually like totally reasonable to live there. Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, wouldn't expect it, but like,
look down on it, but yeah, that happens a lot.
From Braun's side, you're not going to expect to hit every 70%er, right? All right. Anything else you want to say?
No, I'm good.
All right. Cool. Thanks, everyone. We should, I think, Bots and Vince are doing commentary for the finals. So if you're sick of listening to me, because I've been on the first 4, you'll get a break in the next one with them. So look it up for that. I assume next week. Bug Vince about it. All right. Peace.
Oh, yeah.